Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your invitation. No, that's not what we need. I think we need this. As Nick announced, I'm one of those Ashoka fellow problem solvers and social change makers. And that's what I want to share with you today, this story of Apopo, which is an organization that trains rats to save human lives by detecting landmines and also disease. And how does this come about? Well, every social change really starts from something that you are passionate about. Something that you see in society that goes wrong, whether it be climate change, whether it be arms proliferation, whether it be any of those societal issues that you see and that you tackle hands-on, work out creatively in team to change the world together. And in my case, I traveled a lot in Africa, and I saw that African communities affected by landmine problems are totally dependent on expensive imported know-how and goods from Western countries to come and help that problem. But the impact of landmines is devastating. Even if only about 5,000 people per year die from landmine accidents, it is enough that one landmine explodes in a village, for instance, like in Mapulenge near Maputo in Mozambique, for an entire village to flee that area. 25,000 people going away, living in refugee camps, and having to depend on food aid and not being able to lead a normal life in prosperity. The problem here is that these communities, vulnerable communities at the bottom of the pyramid, cannot tackle these problems themselves. So in my situation, I looked at this problem from my background, and well, as a boy, I had a passion for Africa. That's why I traveled there so much, but I also had a passion for rodents. I actually, I bred rats, mice, hamsters, and so on, and I sold them to pet shops in return for pocket money. I was a bit entrepreneurial already at the age of 9. And I knew that rodents were very smart, intelligent, lovely animals, in contrary to what most people think of them. So what I did is connecting these two dots, the problem landmine poses and how it impacts communities at the bottom of the pyramid, and my passion for rodents, and knowing that they were very intelligent, lovely creatures, in contrary to what most of you think. So I connected these two dots and started training rats to help African populations tackle that landmine problem more independently. And you may wonder, how can you now train a rat? And well, that may solve two problems at once, right? We send the rats on the mines and the rats explode together, and we're rid of two problems. That's not how it works. We have total respect for the animals. And rats are really too light to set off landmines. So they're a very useful tool in clearing the landmines, and especially in making the process much more cost efficient, in speeding it up at a low cost. This is how it works. If the clicker works, yeah. So rats are conditioned according positive behavior reinforcement. They learn to discriminate the smell of explosives in landmines, and they get a food reinforcer for that. The animals learn to walk on a leash and walk in a minefield like you see here near in Mozambique, in the south of Mozambique, and where the mines are situated, the animals will scratch on the soil, which is an indication that there is something buried here, and then they come back for a food reward. A very simple, low-tech, appropriate technology. We call it detection rats technology. And I'm really proud to say that through the use of these rats, which have reduced the cost of mine detection by 60%, the use of these rats have speeded up the target for the country of Mozambique to be landmine-free, and it's just last month actually now 2 months ago, Mozambique declared itself free of all known minefields, which is quite an accomplishment. This locally resourced technology could also be used for other detection challenges. In this case, we started training them to detect tuberculosis, pulmonary tuberculosis, a disease that about 1.3 million people worldwide die from. And again, Tanzania, Mozambique, there's like 22 high burden countries. Look how fast this goes. Actually, here the animal indicates on a positive sample. It's a sample that contains tuberculosis, but unfortunately has been missed by microscopes in the centers. And microscopes are really failing. You have about 50% chance if you go to an African clinic and you have tuberculosis to be diagnosed properly. So by running this through a screen with rats, we can increase case detection rates by 40%. And we've been doing that since 2008. We now cover the entire city of Maputo and 22 hospitals in Dar es Salaam, and we're expanding fast because we can save many more lives. If you know that for every missed person, the disease is transmitted up to 10 people per year, you can consider this extra layer of intelligence as a great preventative health intervention. So this is just an example of how I was lucky to be able to be involved in social change and work out one of these programs. But I'm here today to talk to you also not only on particularly these rats, which I can become very lyric about rats, you can imagine, but also to talk about social change and where it comes from, what it is, and how we can all be involved, especially from an educational perspective. Somebody that Bill Drayton, the founder of Ashoka, was very inspired with is Gandhi. And we all know this quote of Gandhi: if you want to see change in society, you have to be that change. Now, this is maybe a difficult one, because how do you start with that? I mean, it's such a complex world we live with. It seems like every week there's a new problem coming up. Terrorism, refugees, civil wars coming up, climate change, the need for sustainable agriculture, and so many issues. So how are we going to tackle this? And I can only explain what my experience is, and there may be a myriad of experiences around. In my humble opinion, change has to start from the heart. It has to start from that place where you are really passionate about. In my case, it was Africa, where my love for rodents. But that is, for every individual, can be different. So it's important to come to that space and from there see what issue in the world, in society, is really disturbing you. In my case, it was landmines, and later on also tuberculosis. But I'm sure for every individual of you, you have some issue that you think, well, this is really an important one. If I can dedicate my life to doing this, not only, well, it doesn't matter if I succeed or not, but I may create a better society, and I will be happier doing that. So I think later on there will be workshops discussing matters of, I don't really know the program, how it is structured, but my advice to you is really, I wish you find that quiet space inside, and that's really something of every present moment. Every moment again, you can come back to that space, find what is important at this very moment to be changed. And through your passion, creatively work this out in team, together with others, in order to create a more sustainable and prosperous world for all. Thank you very much.